Hi, this is Pim from Smart Diabetics Academy. In today's video, I will talk about how to change your diet. So in the last video, I talked about why it's so hard to change your diet. So if you haven't seen that video, you might want to hit pause and just go back and watch that one first so you know kind of where all of this is coming from. Okay, so you might have heard that it takes 10,000 hours to master a new skill. Now, I know that this isn't necessarily true, because if you and I both want to learn to play the drums, let's say, if you're thinking about what you're going to cook for dinner and all the things that you need to do before dinner, how messy your kitchen is, etc., while you're practicing, it's going to take you a lot longer to learn how to play the drums than it will for me if I'm completely focused on what I'm doing the whole time that I'm doing it. So we can use this to our advantage when we're learning a new skill of eating differently and not responding to our cravings, because it is a skill. A habit is just something that you have practiced so many times that you no longer have to think about it. And this is something that is called a habit loop. So you need to identify the 3 different parts of your habit loop. So the first one is the trigger. And the second one is your response to the trigger. And then the third one is the reward that you are getting. Okay? So the trigger can be anything from a day, time of day, a place, a smell, a certain person, certain words, a certain activity, anything, literally anything that you have used to form this habit. So for me, it used to be after dinner, for example. I always craved something sweet after dinner, and it used to drive me mad. It was so bad that I was thinking about not eating dinner because I knew that the cravings would just consume me once I had had my dinner. So my response would usually be to eat something sweet if I had it, or go buy something if I didn't have something, or if I couldn't be bothered to go and buy it, check the cupboards, was there something that I could bake? Because that felt like less effort than going and buying something. Probably wasn't, but it was easier than leaving the house. And the reward for eating this was a sense of relief, but on a brain level. So the reward in the form of a dopamine release and a few other brain chemicals, which is the dopamine is like a feel-good neurotransmitter. And whenever you have a dopamine release, your brain will very, very quickly learn that this is something that is good for you. So it will connect the trigger, having had the dinner, with my sense response, which is the sense of relief. And that will then form this habit loop. So we need to consciously retrain ourselves to respond differently to our triggers. So one way of doing this is to replace my response of eating something sweet with something else. This is one way of doing it. So you can try drinking a plain cup of tea, for example, or listen to your favorite podcast for 30 minutes so you have forgotten about the craving, or just what I actually prefer doing is just getting really good at consciously doing nothing. That's least effort. I know someone who once told me that she was taking a bath, and I thought, oh my god, I would have like 20 baths every day. Some people have cravings 100 times per day. That wouldn't be practical. But whatever works for you, just do it. So I prefer to do nothing because it's easy to do and you can do it anywhere. It doesn't matter if I'm at home or if I'm visiting someone, if I'm at work, wherever I am. I can do nothing for a while and just observe it. So I do nothing, but I observe what is going on with my cravings and how it feels in my body. And I can recognize that it's just a feeling created by my brain and nothing that I actually need to respond to. And this might sound really strange, but it is as simple as that. And this also gives me a sense of relief, because the craving will go away almost instantly most of the time when I do this. Sometimes it will still be there, but it doesn't happen very often for me. So for you to be successful in changing your diet permanently, you need to identify what your triggers are, so that you know when you are going to get your cravings, and then what your normal response is. It's pretty good to know what you're doing, because sometimes we want to be unconscious. We don't want to see what we're doing. We want to hide from it because we're very uncomfortable with it, and we don't like that part of ourselves. And then you want to see your desired and then you want to insert your desired response to this. And you also want to identify how it feels in your body. Because sometimes I don't think about the trigger, I don't think about what's going on, but I can feel in my body that I feel the same way that I feel when I have those cravings. And that wakes me up like that. So that I can be present and just do nothing other than observe what is going on until my craving has passed. Okay, so you need to pay attention. So the next time one of your triggers come up, you need to consciously respond with your desired response and recognize the relief that it gives you. So this is really, really important. Because if you just perform the new response but you feel resentful about it, it's not going to work. Not long term anyway. Instead, you're going to build up a lot of resentment around it, and at some point your new response is not going to work very well for you again. You are going to explode, and you're going to go back to your old habit, and you're going to be pissed off that you forced yourself to do this and life is unfair, etc. So often when this happens, we do it with a vengeance, and we are just totally out of control, and we go on a binge or something silly like that, and then we regret, of course. Okay, so don't feel bad if this fails at first. So this is a skill, you need to practice it. There's nothing that you can just learn like that. So I mentioned the 10,000 hours in the beginning. Although we don't need 10,000 hours, we need to be present and focused on what we're doing and what we're trying to learn here. So if we are, again, taking the drums as an example, if we're learning to play the drums, you are not going to beat yourself up about every time you hit the wrong cymbal or every time you're out of rhythm, but you need to make sure that you pay attention and that you do it as often as you can, okay? The more times you do it, the quicker you're going to learn it. So this is something that I stress with all of my clients. We actually have a game where I want them to practice their allowing their cravings a certain times every day. And if they don't have any cravings, which happens sometimes, I force them to create cravings, because it doesn't matter where the cravings are coming from. When you have a craving, you have a golden opportunity to practice a new habit loop. And when you practice it enough, it will be stronger than your old one. And eventually you're just going to auto-respond by not going and reacting to this craving the way that you used to do. So it's not about being 100% compliant. It's about being committed to the process and to practice this new response as many times as you possibly can. The more the better, and the more you do it, the quicker you're going to reach a goal. So if you want more help with managing your cravings, you can contact me on pim@smartdiabeticsacademy.com, or you can join the Facebook group for type 2 diabetics, where you can ask me anything. You will find the link in the description for the Facebook group, and please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, especially if you like it, or just to support the channel. You can also subscribe to the channel, click the little bell icon to get a notification every time I put up a new video. See ya!